Hey, everybody. There are 2.5 weeks to go in the NBA regular season. And I speak for all Roto Fantasy GMs in saying it's effing riveting. Welcome to Fantasy NBA Today podcast, sports ethos presentation hosted by yours truly, Aaron Bruski, and the GOAT, Dr. A, Steve Alexander. We got a lot to cover here today. We're going to cover this upcoming weekend's games. We got some crazy breaking news here. Taylor Jenkins is out for the Grizzlies, so we'll cover that, I guess, right before we get into everything else. But before we get into all of that, let's say hello to BetOnline, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all things betting on the March Madness. If your bracket's busted, BetOnline has more ways to stay in the action with a free Sweet 16 bracket and live betting on every remaining tournament game. The largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to MLB, NHL, and MMA, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every Cinderella story to every hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Doc, how was last show? You guys were cooking. I had you on in the background. What was Rick's theory on...
there's a lot.
There's a lot going on. What was Rick's theory on Taylor Jenkins?
He says it's all tied to Ja Morant. Taylor Jenkins, the Memphis Grizzlies head coach, has been fired. In person, when he got to the office today, he got fired. It's absolutely shocking. It doesn't make any sense. It's sort of like that Luka trade where everybody's like, what? Wait, are you kidding? Is it April Fool's? Like, what is happening? So pretty bizarre.
What's your theory?
I think something. My initial reaction is, well, he got caught doing something bad because that's the only. I mean, we're 2.5 weeks away from the playoffs. They're locked into the 4 or 5 seed. They're in the playoffs. Ja's coming back. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But I mean, maybe Memphis thought that they couldn't win with him. I have not. There's been no news that he did anything wrong. So it would not totally surprise me if the Suns fired Coach Bud and hired Taylor Jenkins tomorrow.
Like, is that possible? Could that's actually a thing that could happen?
I mean, I think it probably could. And that would be wild. That would be crazy.
The Memphis slide has been. It's been like under the radar. You know, they were the 2 seed, and everybody thought that was playing over their skis. And there's this just stretch since like February 8, which I guess is like right after the trade deadline or thereabouts, where they got, I'm going to count them, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 losses with about 3, 7, 8, 9 wins. So 9 and 13 since February 8. That's I mean, it's not great, but
I wonder how many. I wonder how many of those games Ja Morant played in. Half.
Yeah.
You know what would have been sweet, dude, is if Memphis and the Suns just made a huge trade of coaches. We'll give you Bud and a 2nd-round draft pick for Taylor Jenkins. Like, that would have been sweet. A coach trade.
We'll take Bradley Beal off your hands, and we'll send you Scottie Pippen Jr. There's just a lot going on in fantasy leagues in general, so we probably won't spend too much time ruminating on this, but there's got to be some fantasy impact here. There's got to be something going on. There's an assistant coach in the background. I don't know how to say his name. What is this, Thomas Lasalo? Did I get it right?
That's close.
Yeah.
I think it's close enough. It's close enough for me.
You know, there's like rumblings out there that he's maybe more involved in things than folks might know.
I mean, it looks like he's the coach now.
The real takeaway here is that Jay Huff is about to take over fantasy leagues.
Oh, God.
Because of this. I know. Look at that. I love it. Oh, God. That guy. Jay Huff, who's been heating up, I might add. All right, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to get into it here real quick, but make sure you hit the thumbs up all over the place, subscribe, do all the social media stuff that apparently we all have to do to subsist in this day and age. If you're on Twitter, follow us at Ethos Fantasy BK, probably Ethos Fantasy NBA. That was our old one, Ethos Fantasy NBA. And if you're listening on the pod feed, go ahead and give us a 5-star review if you are so inclined. We're going to be covering Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Morant missed 8 out of those 19 games. Intrepid producer Andre Lemush, if I'll ever get that right. 7 games this Friday, 7 games on Saturdays, 8 games on Sunday. So we got a nice and even Steven kind of a 3-day run here for folks that are going to be ending their championship weeks this week. Good luck to all of you. We're going to cover some streamers in this, some top waiver pickups, and some betting at the end. 16-14 without Ja Morant, 28-15 with him. That's actually a reversal of prior trends. They used to play really, really well without Ja Morant, causing people to think, what if they did not have him? I don't know if I would think that, but I think Ja Morant's still pretty good, but he's got to get on the court. He's got to stay on the court. And that's that. Brooklyn, they've got Friday, Saturday games. So they've got the back-to-back here. We'll cover them real quick. And then we got some teams playing on Friday and Sunday. There's a group of about 10 of them, and we'll try to isolate in this group who we like as streamers there. There's a lot of streamers. And I don't know if that's good news or bad news for folks, because your opposition will have access to these folks as well. And then on Saturday and Sunday, you get to close this thing off with 2 tanky teams playing both of those days, Philadelphia and San Antonio, with some amazing options. So let's get right into it, Doc. Let's start with Brooklyn. Who you taking from that dumpster fire if you're going to stream for your championship?
I don't trust any of them.
None of them.
None of them. But
none, y'all.
I like Zaire Williams, even though he's inconsistent, kind of banged up. I like D'Angelo Russell if I know he's going to play, and I don't care about my field goal percentage because he is going to shoot and he's going to miss a lot of shots, but he's also going to make some and put up some numbers. But the guy I'm most intrigued by is the suddenly hot Nick Claxton. 22 points in his last game, 19 points the game before that. He's always flirting with double digits in rebounds. He can block shots. I'd kind of written Nick Claxton off. He's just been terrible this season. And just because he played well in 2 games doesn't mean he's suddenly going to do that for the rest of the season. But I've got a little more faith in him than I do these other guys.
I don't know if he's available. I mean, I could see him being available. Like frustrated GM says bye-bye. Zaire, he's questionable with an illness. That's odd or not great, but he's been quiet. That means it's probably due for a good game. So I'm definitely looking at Zaire Williams if I'm going to play this. Keon Johnson, I feel sort of the same way. It's time for him to have a big game. And then Tyrese Martin, if you're in a really super deep league, he's been inside the top 200, but some interesting numbers: 9.5 points, 2 threes. Almost three or 4 rebounds, 3 assists, not much else after that. It's rough. There's a lot of teams that folks might target because they think they could get some silly season heroes out of it. And this Brooklyn squad just hasn't produced on a fantasy level pretty much all season. Let's shift over. I'll just read the teams. You don't need to know this, but we're just going to give you the best of the bunch out of this group. They play Friday and Sunday: Golden State, Charlotte, Toronto, Milwaukee, Minnesota, New Orleans, New York, Clippers, Cleveland, Detroit, Phoenix. Don't worry about that. We'll just tell you who to take. Doc, there are about 10, 20 names on my list, something like that. What do you like best on your list?
Very intrigued by Orlando Robinson, the Toronto Raptors. He had 23, 12, and a block in his last game. Jakob Poeltl did not play in that game. Jakob Poeltl plays. I don't love O-Rob, but if Jakob Poeltl is out, I love O-Rob. And I have a feeling Poeltl's going to come back and ruin him in the next game. And then your boy Mobo has also been playing better.
Yeah. Hello to Mobo.
Intriguing, but it's all tied to Jakob Poeltl, I think. So if Poeltl's playing, I really don't want to mess with those guys. Nick Claxton is 90% rostered.
90.
Huh. I was thinking it would be more like 60.
It's the Yahoo thing where the first part of the season is the only thing that matters with these ownership percentages. It's
all right.
Anyway, that's my best guess at it.
Toronto, where are you? Where are you with O-Rob and Mobo?
You know, I thought O-Rob was going to be at least like more consistent than he's been. He has to deal with Pirtle whenever Pirtle plays. Colin Castleton was getting a lot of minutes. That's the key here, I think. Actually, Castleton, his 10-day expired. Yeah, and I don't know if they're going to go back to him. And if they don't, then it's all O-Rob pretty much the rest of the way because Pirtle's not going to play more than say half the games at most. So you might be.
I think Castleton had 2 10-days with them, so he's not coming back.
They would have to sign him for the rest of the season. Yeah. And that whole phenomena of having to sign these 10-day guys for the rest of the season, I would like to do a deeper dig on that to figure out what's in it for the team if they do that. And, what's in it, I guess, for the player. I mean, why sign a guy on like the last day of the season? I don't understand what the cap machinations, are with that. Let's see. Unless you want to spit one out. Let's see here. We got, where'd my sheet go? There's a lot. I'm
going to spit one out. I'm going to throw 2 out. Gary Trent and Kevin Porter Jr. of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Trent is averaging 14 points, a steal, and 3 threes in March. KPJ started for Damian Lillard, who is out for the season the other night, and had 12.7 boards, 8 assists. In 30 minutes, he only hit 5 of 15 shots, so that line would have looked even better. I think both of those guys should be rostered in every league right now.
Yeah, I think with Kevin Porter, you got to be thinking that Damian Lillard blood clot at least puts his playoffs in risk to some degree, right? I mean, they're optimistic, and it sounds like maybe he could come back. But if you're Milwaukee and you're trying to save your franchise from Giannis Antetokounmpo leaving, I think you're trying to get everything you can out of this playoff run. And if you're looking down the bench and trying to figure out which player can actually help you, it's Kevin Porter Jr. You need dynamic playmakers that can bend the defense. And if you don't have Damian Lillard, I mean, you better get Kevin Porter Jr. ready with as many games as possible. So when he had that big game, I was pretty stoked, and I think some folks will get good utility there. Let's stop in New Orleans. I think it's just almost obligatory at this point. Kelly Olynyk, probably rostered in a lot of leagues, but he's been a little bit up and down, so maybe he's available. Top 125 over the last 8 games. Same with Carlo Makovic, top 125 over the last 10 games. Ed Nisi, singular, top 175.
Wow, you did it.
Yes, I know. 175 for him over the last 7 games. 26 minutes, 11 points, 8.5 boards, 1.4 blocks. Jose Alvarado, top 175. There's just a lot of that available in New Orleans. Who else?
What about Jordan Hawkins? Are we
I think he's right behind them.
Yeah. I had all 5 of those guys written down.
Zion and CJ are out on the Friday game. They'll probably play in the Sunday game if I had to guess, but not 100% sure on that. They got to shut those dudes down at some point in time.
I think Toronto, I think the guys we talked about so far, the only ones I'm like, yes, you must go get them is Trent and KPJ. All 5 of those New Orleans guys, I mean, stream them if you want. It's hit or miss. You're rolling the dice. Misi's been better lately. But I don't feel like, oh my God, I have to go get Makovic and make sure he's on my team.
No. I mean, if you're in a deeper situation, yes, but no, not where 12 teams and 10 teams and 150 player leagues where all that intersects. No, not these guys. The one that was, I think the Cleveland guys are kind of interesting right now. You got Evan Mobley probable for this game, Garland questionable, Tyre Jerome questionable. And it feels like they're getting into the rest 1 or 2 players per game thing. And I think Kenny Atkinson was on record saying that they're just resting for the playoffs. Like no hiding this. So I think Max Strus and DeAndre Hunter are guys that don't get a lot of volume when everybody's playing, and they might be logical places for the volume to go. So check them out. Marcus Sasser's interesting. Go ahead.
I think with who were we just talking about?
Cleveland. Cleveland, yes.
Yeah, Cleveland. I was thinking Memphis. I'm stuck on this Taylor Jenkins thing. In Cleveland, I think DeAndre Hunter and Ty Jerome are both, and Max Strus are all guys you want to look at, but you don't want to mess with them if everybody's playing. If Mitchell's out or Garland's out, you want to go with Jerome. If somebody else is out, a big man like Evan Mobley, I think you go with DeAndre Hunter. And then Strus is starting. I think Strus is streamable, but it really depends. I think you need to watch who's in and who's out for Cleveland day to day. And I'm excited to talk about Marcus Sasser, Brew. That was the next guy on my list.
Yeah,
so
go for
ahead.
it. Because I mean, he looks great, and I don't know what's up with Cade Cunningham. I'm riding my lifelong favorite basketball team, the Detroit Pistons. I'm riding this thing to glory, and they're winning without Cade. And I need Cade to come back, because if they go 9-0 during this stretch here, they'll be a 50-win club, and then I will collect my money on the Coach of the Year bet for JB Bickerstaff. I actually saw him written up in The Athletic as the guy that should be Coach of the Year. I was very thankful for that. Zach Harper and Magic Johnson 3 or 4 weeks ago in a classic Magic Johnson tweet said he would be Coach of the Year. You know, if Magic says it, that means it's going to happen. So I am excited. But Marcus Sasser has been really effective in low minutes lately. Top 150 in 4 games in just 15 minutes a game, 12.5 points, 2.3 triples, not much more than that. But with Cade Cunningham out, and you're looking for some pop in a deeper league situation, perhaps, I think Marcus Sasser could be interesting. And then Dennis Schroeder, might as well just include him there. We got some news rolling in right as we're talking. I was about to mention this. Ty Jerome is out, and it's been a bummer because I think Max Strus out. I wish this had happened 5 seconds ago, because I was literally about to say what sucks about Cleveland is these guys, Strus, Hunter, and Jerome, is they all have injury history, except for Jerome's injury history seems to be hitting right now. Maybe this is why Ty Jerome, kind of goes under the radar and pops up as this really good player. Maybe he's got a bad knee. Who knows? But Strus definitely has a history with that knee. And then same with DeAndre Hunter's been injured his entire career. So all these guys that would be beneficiaries, they have their own reason to rest. And that's been a bummer. So we haven't quite capitalized on Ty Jerome like it seemed like we could. And that leaves with those two out, DeAndre Hunter as the guy, if you're going to stream, trying to take advantage of the Friday game. Who knows what happens with the Sunday game? Points, threes, hopefully good field goal percentage, and a sprinkling of other stats for DeAndre Hunter. All right, breaking news day. Who else? Anybody? Yeah.
Can I speak about Sasser for one moment, Brew?
Never, but by all means.
So in his last 2 games without Cade, he scored 20 and 27 points with 8 3-pointers between those 2 games. That's money right there. And Cade Cunningham has already been ruled out for Friday. So I am playing Sasser everywhere tonight. Everywhere I can. DFS, stream, if I can, gambling, all of it. I'm going all in on Sasser tonight. He's the guy that's been going off without Cade. So I like him a lot.
I think he might be the best one on this list for a few different. I like the surprise factor. I think people aren't on Sasser for the most part. Maybe some DFS heads are on Sasser, but I think you're going to get a great value there. The Warriors have some interesting streamer guys. Brandon Pajemski, probably rostered in a lot of competitive leagues, but he's been kind of good lately, getting a bunch of minutes. Typical good Brandon Pajemski stats: 16 points, 3.5 triples, 5.3 boards, 2.5 assists. I'm a little worried that this is the high water mark and that the bad stuff is on the way. Buddy Hield's been top 160 in the last 9 games. That's probably where you want to put your expectation. And then Quentin Post, same ballpark. Jonathan Kuminga. I wish I could read the notes here, but I would get in trouble from Andre. Nick Smith. Points and threes as a specialist. If you're looking for points and threes, Moses Moody, top 80 over the last 9 games, 29.6 minutes, 13 points, 2 triples, 2.0 combined defensive stats. I don't know that we thought he had that in him. Great free throw shooting, powering that top 80 mark. Yeah, Andre, you heard your name. You didn't hear what we said though. let's get to the Philadelphia San Antonio Spurs side of things. Saturday, Sunday, back to back. These are some of my pickups for what it's worth. Some of these guys, there's just a lot of value there. But what are you working with over there?
Yabu Saley's been hot. He's playing well. Justin Edwards is cooking, dude. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't look up his roster.
I had a bunch of that, and I had to give up on it because it was going the wrong direction. There was other Philadelphia assets to be had. I'm sad. I got him in a couple places still, but eesh.
He's been balling.
I hate that.
He's 36% on Justin Edwards. So, I mean, just look at his game log. You'll see it. And even when Quentin Grimes came back, Edwards still balled. So I like him. And then I'm a sucker for Jared Butler. Even though he's coming off the bench, he's not really getting the love I thought he was going to get. And he's not getting, they're playing Doughton and they're playing all these other dudes. But I still really like Jared Butler. Jared Butler, I feel like, is due for a big game here at some point.
Yeah, that for sure is part of my thinking with that squad. Adem Bona, top 24 over his last 6 games. It's been spaced out. There's the absence due to the ankle injury, but in his last 2 games back, 21 minutes per game, points and rebounds not great. 6 and 6.5, 2 assists, but 3 combined defensive stats in those 2 games. 60% shooting, 0 turnovers. But like when you go back to the last 6 games. Hey, Andre, if you want me reading that private chat, you keep joking like that. Top 24 over the last 6 games. That is a lot of value. It's a lot of defensive stats. There is some risk here in the sense that who knows what Philly could do, but he kind of has to play at this point. So he's a streamer, but he's also one of my waiver wire pickup guys. Jeff Doughton Jr., 25 minutes per game over the last 3 games. Top 65 value, and another player that I have on rosters that I was afraid to start because I just didn't know when he would play because he's only got 2 or 3 games left on his 2-way deal, and then they would have to sign him for the rest of the season. I guess the thinking here, if you take a chance, if you feel like he's going to be in the roster, you see him out there, and it gets to be game time, and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to put him in as a streamer. Or maybe just take a flyer that he gets this contract. Well, maybe he does get the contract. Maybe he does get to play and provide you mid-round value the rest of the way. He's been getting 13 points, just under a 3, 3 combined defensive stats. And that's the way these Philly games have been rolling. I don't know if you've got anybody else in Philly, but if you do, feel free. And then San Antonio, what do you like there?
I think Julian Champagnie is available. His last game, he had 16 points, 7 boards, 3 threes, and he only hit 4 of 13 shots. So had he made shots, that line would have been spectacular probably. And I'm kind of in on Julian Champagnie right now. I like the schedule. I like the fact that I know he's going to play. Of course, I love Stephon Castle. He's rostered everywhere, I think. I think Champagnie is the guy that's available who still has upside and is starting to play better.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Champagnie, top 100 over the last 4 games for him. And I've said all of this about him in the past, but I feel like he's earned these minutes by being a good soldier throughout the season. He was a real big key contributor for them and then just took a back seat because of contracts and money. And also Devin Vassell's a very good player. So Champagnie might get rewarded for all that. Keldon Johnson, top 75 over the last 4 games. So just doing Keldon Johnson stuff. All right, we're going to get into our waiver wire plays now. Before we do, I actually just want to ask you guys for some feedback. We're making investments into the platform right now and doing a lot of cool stuff. So if there's something you'd like to see on the website, anything that we're doing with social, anything we're doing with content at all, please feel free to send it into support@sportsethos.com, or you can tweet anybody over here, myself, Aaron Bruski, AARONBRUSKI, at Dr. A, DOCKTORA. We'll make sure that it gets to the appropriate parties. And then also go download the free app, which you can find on any app store. Just search Sports Ethos. Okay. Let's get to waiver wire stuff here. Who do you like, sir? Who's the best waiver wire pickup known to man? Who's it going to be? Rock their worlds.
I don't know if I have the answer to that. I think we already talked about them, right? Sasser and Kevin Porter Jr. and Gary Trent. Guys we haven't talked about who I think are good pickups. Filipowski in Utah, averaging 15 points, 7 boards, almost a steal, and 2 threes in the month of March. He should be rostered. Khalil Ware, double figures in rebounds in 5 of his last 7 games. Double figures in points in 6 of his last 7. And he has 9 blocks over his last 6 games. Ballin'. Anthony Black, as long as Cole Anthony is not playing. I like Anthony Black. He's double figures in points in 4 straight games in 5 of his last 6. He also has 7 blocks in 5 games, Brew. Did you know Anthony Black was a shot blocker?
I got a couple. No, I didn't. I mean, I got a couple Orlando Magic follows that are going off on Anthony Black, and it kind of perked. You're just like, okay, that's the 10th time I've heard about this. I think maybe it's a thing now. So yeah, no, they want him to be good, right? Like,
and he's also putting up threes, rebounds, and assists. Like he's been really good. And I'm afraid Cole Anthony is going to come back and rain on the parade. But it hasn't happened yet. And then my boy, Jaden Hardy. Brandon Williams has 1 game left with the Mavericks, and then he's done because of his G League status. And Hardy has scored 22 and 15 in each of his last 2 games. And I think he's coming on, man. When Brandon Williams goes away, it's going to be the Hardy show, I believe. He's not going to get a lot of assists. He's not super efficient, but he's a bucket. And then in Washington, Justin Champagnie, 16.5 points, 8.5 boards, 2 threes in his last 2 games. They have no reason not to play Justin Champagnie all the minutes he can get the rest of the way. They got blown by 60 points last night, or close to 60. They gave up 162 points to the Pacers, Brew. Pacers were leading the game by 60 points at one point. Let Justin Champagnie play, please.
The amen to that. I've been begging for that for like 6 weeks, on and off teams. It's going to happen. Well, it started to happen these last couple of weeks. Same with Tristan Vukcevic, top 120 over the last 8 games in just 19 and a half minutes. Still up and down. Like
very up and down.
They play Rashawn Holmes 13 minutes and get blown out by whatever. And it's just Washington always does the stupidest thing that they could do at a given time. In the power rankings of stupid NBA teams, Washington's top 3 every year. It's just beautiful. I think it's got to happen at some point. There's really no justification for trotting any of these old dudes out there at all. And yet they keep doing it. But at some point, it's got to give. So both of those players, I'm looking at them as must roster just because, I mean, if Vucevic is getting a top 120 in 19 minutes, oh Lord, what happens if he plays 26 minutes? I mean, holy hell. Kevin Huerter is somebody that's probably on rosters, but every time he has a dip, maybe he falls off a roster. So keep an eye out, make sure he's not available. I had Anthony Black as well. Bryce Sensabaugh is somewhat cooking. Not a ton of overall value here because he's a little bit limited in what he provides. But if you need points, threes, and boards, especially points and threes, he's a guy to keep an eye on out there in the wasteland known as Utah. Scottie Pippen Jr., probably my top pickup, though I don't think he's available out there in a lot of leagues. He's been top 25 over the last 10 games, 26 minutes a game, 12.5 points, 1.7 triples, 4.2 boards, 5.7 assists, 2.4 steals, 0.6 blocks on great percentages. I feel bad that I didn't stash him all season or something. I that's a little bit of an overstatement, but he is a beast right now, and who knows what's happening in Memphis. Like, speaking of Memphis, does this do anything to Ja Morant? Like, does this make him more motivated to play? Like,
well, if Ja Morant got Taylor Jenkins fired, Ja Morant's playing in his next game.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Rick and I kind of think that we're going to see Ja suddenly reappear.
Right. Which is a bummer for Scotty.
And it was really weird because when Taylor Jenkins news hit us during the last show, I was literally in the middle of saying, I kind of don't want Ja to come back because I'm loving this Scottie Pippen thing. Like, it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And he's cheap in DFS, and I just like rolling with Pippen. And as soon as I said that, Andre was like, Taylor Jenkins got fired. And I looked at my calendar to make sure it wasn't April 1st.
It's really close to
because
April 1st.
It sounded like a joke, dude. And I mean, you and I don't know what day it is. We don't even know what month it is usually. So I was like, wait, I need to make sure he's not messing.
I asked you guys like 3 times before we got on the show.
Wait,
if you guys
were
messing
serious
with me. Yeah, no. Even after the long spiel, I was like, this is the long con. March 28th. So close. So close.
Dude, remember in Christmas Vacation, Clark Griswold goes, ooh, kids, I checked the Santa tracker and he's heading over Milwaukee right now. And Eddie looks at him and goes, you serious, Clark? That's sort of what we were doing about the Taylor Jenkins trade. Are you serious, Clark?
I love it. Okay, I think that's going to do it for our waiver wire ads. Unless you got anybody else you want to shout out, Doc. I'll spin us into our ATS and props. I don't have any props because I think maybe I cleaned up on Russell Westbrook last time this segment came up. I got a couple against the spread bets, but you feel free to add a waiver wire pickup if you'd like, Doc. And then if you want to leave us off.
Are we supposed to talk about players we're monitoring this week?
Yeah.
Did I imagine that?
No.
Do you want to skip that? I've got guys.
Yeah, no, let's talk about that. What are we watching over the weekend? I need all the help I can get over here, Doc. Thank you so much for that.
Well, it's funny. I got up early and I was prepping for the show, and I had Andre's, show pulled up, and I was writing down all these notes. I'm totally prepped for this show. I absolutely forgot that I was doing the show with Rick first, recapping last night, and did zero prep for that. So luckily we had a lot of Josh Giddey heroics in the Bulls Lakers. We had a lot of
I'm glad you brought up Josh Giddey because I would like to just say publicly what a freaking run he's on. And that game, that shot, that was great to watch with my kiddo. One of the reasons I'm stupid right now is my kiddo and my wife are coughing up lungs still for like the 4th week over here. Nobody slept at all. I'm just running on fumes. And at this time of year, it's all fumes for fantasy leagues. It's fun. It's really fun. But in 3 weeks, I'm going to take a long nap. It's going to be great. What are we watching for this weekend?
With Josh Giddey, dude, I was all in on him, and everybody looked at me like I
was
were.
Crazy. I was
like he's inefficient.
That was me.
He can't shoot.
That was
he can't do this. And I was like, I don't care. I'm all in on Josh Giddey, and I'm not saying that I was right and everybody else was wrong.
Yeah,
but I'm very proud of the fact that I stuck to my guns and did not.
This is a modified with all due respect.
Did not get talked out of my love for Josh Giddey. 3 things I'm watching. Your boy Vukcevic, the center big man in Washington. Alex Sarr is on one. Alex Sarr is balling out. Alex Sarr should be rostered everywhere.
Should Alex Sarr be rookie of the year?
He's making a run.
Just wanted to see.
He's making
the run, and maybe this is a problem for Vukcevic. Go on. I'm sorry, I just interrupted you.
But Vooch, like from March 10th to March 21st, he scored 15, 17, 17, 17. He had solid boards. He was stealing the ball. He was blocking shots, and we're all like, I love this guy. I'm going all in. And then he played 4 minutes on Saturday, March 22nd, and had 4 points. And everybody was like, WTF, I can't deal with that. And then a lot of people dropped him. And then he came back and had 11 points and 4 boards in the next game. But then he had 17 and 6 with 2 blocks and a steal on Wednesday. And everybody's like, he's back. I'm going back. I'm all in. And Kamla, I think, was one of those people. He's like, Boots, let's go. Well, on Thursday, he played 15 minutes and had 4 points, 2 boards, 0 steals, and 0 blocks. I think at that point, Rick today was like, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. He's too inconsistent. But if you look at the overall numbers and you don't just look at it game by game, they're pretty good. And I don't know how much playing time he's going to get with Alex Sarr playing the way he's playing, but he needs 20 minutes a night. And I don't know why Richaun Holmes is still playing for this team. I don't get that. I don't know why any big man is playing for this team except Justin Champagnie, Vucevic, and Alex Sarr. Like, those should be the only three bigs that play for this team. So anyway, I'm watching to see if we're going to get punked again or if he's going to play 25 minutes and go off. And then same thing with Matkovic in New Orleans. Like, I want to know that he can do this the rest of the way, and having me, I want to have confidence in knowing that I can put him in my lineup and that he's going to go off. And then I want to see what happens with the O-Rob Jakob Poeltl situation in Toronto. Like, let them split minutes. Just let O-Rob play. I don't need him to play 30, but let him play at least 20, 25.
Well, and then there's going to be the game where he plays 30 and potentially goes off and is like a difference maker in whatever format you're in at this point. And even in roto formats, a big game actually goes a really long way at this time of year. I echo all those points. And with Washington and a bunch of these squads, it's like the anxiety of like, are they going to get deactivated for no good reason? Like, or DNP'd in the case of Champagnie the other day. It's really, really tough stuff. And you're just looking for games played at this time of year. So, yeah, we'll watch that like a hawk. I think Philly will be on the top of my list for sure. New Orleans is on my list. You know, Matkovic, if he can, it's not just the playing time, it's the foul trouble as well with him. Can he just pull it together? Because he's got a great, like, it's not the best stat set you've ever seen, but the fact that he can play some defense statistically and then, get some 3-pointers in addition to the kind of the more classic big man stats that can remain efficient. It's a decent package there. And so I'll be watching out for that. Maybe some Golden State stuff just to kind of see how they morph over there. And maybe some San Antonio. Those are the ones on my radar. And now Memphis. Let's see what happens in Memphis.
Yeah, we got to watch Memphis real close.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think we've covered what we're watching.
I know you're not a big props guy, so I brought some.
You brought the heat? Okay.
Well, I have some props. I don't know if
You're not bringing the heat like Ricky props?
No, Ricky Props
brings the heat every night.
Lose my parlay by a half point or half assist every single night.
You know what? It's fun. It's fun. I with your anti-parlay rhetoric, Andre, parlays are fun. Not good for your pocketbook, but they're fun. Andre says losing sucks. It does suck. Actually, you know what I'll be watching out for this weekend? This is a little humble brag, but I've got like 3 or 4 teams in championship contention for high stakes. That is great. At this time of the year, it's just crazy. Like, especially that final Saturday, Sunday, when you're just looking at the stat tracker all day long. And it's like, take your kid to the park, stat tracker. Do this, stat tracker. It's just like, just the ultimate sweat. So I'll be excited to just see this week, next week, and the week after that. Enough on that. Let's get to the props. Do you want to start with your props?
We can do props first.
Yeah, let's do that.
James Harden is at 21.5 and 8.5 assists. I believe they're playing the Nets, which is his former team. And James Harden is coming off a monster game for the Clippers. Like 39 and a bunch of stuff. He actually shot the ball well for once. It was weird. I think James Harden is going to double-double. I think he hates Brooklyn. Maybe not the city. He does not like the Nets organization. I think he's going to try to light them up tonight. So I like both overs for James Harden.
I feel like he's trying to show people what's up, just to kind of echo your point. Like, just lately, he just wants that to happen. But go on.
And then Gary Trent Jr.'s props are not out yet. Of course they're not. But he's on a tear, dude. He's playing so well. I think the last game, his props were 12.5 points and 2.5 threes. I like the over in both of those because he's balling. I believe the over on our guy, Marcus Sasser, point total is 10.5. He's had 20 and 27 in his last 2
That's
games.
a number?
I think it's 10.5.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's only balled for 2 games. But Andre, can you verify Marcus Sasser's point over?
That's outstanding.
But I'm going all in on that if that is correct. And then the last prop that I have is Anthony Edwards is playing against Kevin Durant. And do you remember what happened in the playoffs last year when he played against Kevin Durant? Are you aware that Phoenix is a toxic ball club right now and that Coach Bud is on the hottest of the hot seats and that Devin Booker's mad? The only guy that's going out there and playing every night is 10.5 on Sasser.
10.5.
10.5.
That's sassy.
Can I interest you in 10.5 on Sasser?
Yes.
But the only guy that's playing,
I'd almost max bet that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll screw it up.
How does that not hit? That is going to hit. Like, I've been watching Detroit a lot. I'm a lifelong fan all of a sudden. And Sasser is completely going to hit that.
Well, I'm going to put it in a parlay to make sure it doesn't hit for me. Don't do it. Anyway, KD is the only person that's really trying for Phoenix right now. And Anthony Edwards loves going against KD. Like, it's in his DNA. It's in his blood. It's just his thing. And I don't know why he wouldn't go out there and do it again tonight. He's at 28.5, which is a very high number for an over. But I'm looking at the KD factor, and I think we got a 30-pointer coming from Ant.
Look, he's just coming off of Ant against the Pacers, 7 of 19 with 1 of 11 from 3. And maybe it was the hip, but like, that was Monday. Today's Friday. He should be better. That's I like your props today. That's me. I don't know if you guys get to hear that. That's me clapping. I'm gonna find that
Docky props.
That is amazing. Okay, I don't think I can do quite as good as Doc, but I do think. Well, I'm not betting the house on this, but my favorite basketball team is Detroit plus 6.5. We got injured star theory here with Cade out. They're at home. They're playing this team called the Cleveland Cavaliers, who has beat the crap out of them all season. I haven't checked into that. I just remember watching. But this is like the game. Like, if Detroit is fired up to try to get JBB a win against his former team, that's a great angle here. Injured star is one of my favorite angles. Detroit plus 6.5 for 1 star, 1 unit. And then I'll take New Orleans plus 13 at home against the Warriors. I think this team is plucky. I think that they're playing. They got a bunch of savvy veterans running around out there doing savvy veteran stuff. Golden State, they've been high on the hog lately. Maybe not so motivated. Jimmy coming off of an embarrassment. That's not fun. He might want to take it out on New Orleans, but 13 at home, I'll take it for 1 measly unit. You got anything in the ATS world, Doc?
I kind of like staying with the Jimmy Harden theme. The Clippers minus 12.5 at the Nets in Brooklyn. Harden's going to go off. The Nets suck, and the Clippers are pretty good. The Clippers are sneaky good. Mm-hmm. They're one of those teams where I don't think teams are really going to want to see them in the playoffs.
No, sir.
Everybody's healthy. Kawhi has been a model citizen this season, for the most part. And then you've got
as good as it could have gone for Kawhi Leonard, it has gone. for Kawhi Leonard.
And you've got
and I
Norm
got him
Powell
all over
having
the
a good
place, I might add, and it's been great.
And you got Harden, and you got Dunn, and you got a decent bench, and you got Zubac playing well. So I really kind of like the Clippers team. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
Lots of great role players on that team. Just Derek Jones,
It's
Jr.,
12.
Chris Dunn.
Yeah. It's 12.5 points, but I kind of feel it. And then the New York Knicks are -1.5 at Milwaukee. And Milwaukee, last I checked, didn't have Giannis. They definitely don't have Dame. Is Giannis out tonight? Do we know that yet?
I don't think we know that yet.
If Giannis is playing, this line makes sense. If he's not playing, it doesn't make
this line makes no sense if he's not playing. He's playing.
So
based on that line.
He is playing?
I would just say based on this line, the Knicks, even without Brunson, against a team without their 2 stars, that's reeling. I don't think the Knicks they'd be a 4-point favorite.
Well, you know what? They didn't have Dame or Giannis in their last game against the Nuggets, and they almost won that game. They only lost by 10, and it was tight down the stretch.
These injured star games are gold for been riding them. When I was doing capping 3 years ago for us, the injured star theory was just like the go-to winner all the time. So I get it.
Well, and Giannis is still listed as questionable. He's got his foot sprain. This isn't the normal Giannis knee maintenance, sore leg. This is a foot sprain. That's different. And at this point, as disastrous as everything is going in Milwaukee, they need him healthy for the playoffs if they're going to even have a chance to win a series. So I'm going with the Knicks, who are kind of rolling as well. Like Cat should have a field day tonight. They don't have Jalen Brunson, but that's okay. They don't really need him. They've got Josh Hart and all those other dudes. So I'm going with the Knicks -1.5 at Milwaukee.
Some updated lines here. Those Warriors are now 15.5-point favorites. And then that Cleveland-Detroit line's moving. It moved from 6.5 to 6 just recently. So I'm curious if that's the Ty Jerome and Max Strus news that's moving that just a 0.5 point. Doubt Probably. It's Cade. Yeah, I don't think there's any surprise Cade action here. But that Cade thing, I mean, it's a calf injury. They're competing for playoff position. And, I mean, hell, Detroit at this point, as we're going to close up this show here because we're pretty much done, Detroit, if you look at Indy's a little, always a little iffy if Tyrese has a cold streak, they kind of go down the tubes real quick with that. But then you look at Milwaukee, they got their issues. And if you're Detroit, you somehow slide into a 4 seed, you get home court advantage against probably Indiana. You could find yourself into the second round if you're the Detroit Pistons. And who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? Okay, great show, Doc. Thank you very much. Shout if you got anything else you want to say. We're going to be back tomorrow breaking down the week ahead. So make sure you check out the pod feed for that one.
The week ahead.
And we just sing the entire show a cappella. It's great for like 2 minutes. And then you're like, shut up, guys. Thank you, Andre Lemouche, for the great production as usual. Thank you, guys. Please send us your feedback. I can't say that enough. Like, we're literally taking all of these schemes and putting them together right now. The roadmap is being created for this upcoming basketball season. So if you have a want, need, or desire, and it's legal, send it to us at Aaron Bruski, at Dr. A, support at sportsethos.com. Any of those places, and we'll get it to the right spot. Go download the app. Good luck this weekend in your fantasy leagues. Let's all take it, all the way down the stretch. Let's make sure we all win our stuff. That's what this is all about. This has been Fantasy NBA Today, brought to you by Bet Online. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, be well.